Hello, I'm Harry Marshall, a social scientist at Forest Research, and I'm going to run through a quick example of how we might use the ESS NEMO to think about stakeholders or audiences for different outputs that we might want to engage with, to either to spark collaborations or for various different reasons. The example I'm going to focus on is this evidence map, which was created by my colleagues at Forest Research. Initially it was finished 2 years ago, and it's available in a published form at the beginning of this year. And this evidence map was using a systematic process to map the evidence around UK land managers and woodland creation, specifically thinking about barriers and enablers, drivers for woodland creation. It provides a database of evidence sources coded according to a range of factors, including land manager type, objectives, drivers, context and type of woodland, and offers a resource for those looking to quickly understand the evidence landscape on this subject. So looking at whether there are evidence gaps, particularly thinking about different areas within the UK or particular land manager types. And so for the last 2 years I've been working with colleagues to create an updated version of this, but also an interactive dashboard version. And now we're seeking to disseminate this to key audiences, those who will have particular interest in this output, both from, as I say, a collaboration point of view, a funding point of view, or various, as it's such quite a large project, there's various ways that people might interact with this. So thinking about the key audiences that we are interested in engaging with, there's a few different kind of high-level groups that we might be thinking about. So potential users, those in government, be that UK government, local government, but also civil society, so organisations that have an invested interest in planting more trees. We may also be interested in other researchers, so coming from the angle that they might not be aware of the evidence that we've collated, but also thinking about future collaborations and questions which might have come out of that data, and so thinking about future collaborations. There may also be expert or key informants or potential participants for future primary research, so looking into the efficacy of woodland creation attempts and other ways of trying to reduce those barriers and increase those drivers. And obviously, quite importantly, potential funders, so thinking specifically within that research development area, what kind of organisations might fund research, but also looking at commercial entities, so people who are interested in planting more trees, so how can they help facilitate doing that? And so our evidence map might be useful or interesting for them to justify why they're going to carry out their actions. And so now I'm going to run through an example. So now that I'm interested in looking at potential users for this map, I'm going to go to the, which might come from a range of different entities. I'm going to go to the map, ESS NEMO, and zoom in and focus on, in the first instance, local government. And so as I click on local government, I get an information box to the right which outlines a summary of what this category covers and different examples that might fall within that. I then see that kind of the next levels below are local authorities, regional level organisations to involve local government. Having a quick skim of these categories here, one that looks particularly relevant to talking about the drivers and barriers to nature recovery is local nature recovery strategy areas. Again, we have a description of that here and what they're interested in, and here is, well, keywords: interventions devised and managed by local government entities, and as our evidence review looks at interventions among some studies. So now I go to the list form and I will search for local nature recovery strategies. Strategy. as we see here. So this falls within the local government, regional level organisations, the subcategories within that, and then we have specific entities. So for example, one that might be of interest based on where I have some connection is Gloucestershire Local Nature Recovery Strategy. So I'll then take that to my Word document of potential users and paste that in. Coming back to the map, other forms of local government that might be of interest, again looking more from the climate change side, maybe the UK 100, a network of local leaders who have pledged to lead a rapid transition to net zero with clean air in their communities ahead of the government's legal target. So go again to the map, a bit easier to type out, UK 100, oops, no space. We see here obviously the different entities, subcategorizations, but as we come down here we see a list of sub-entities which include both Gloucester City Council and Gloucestershire County Council. So I can copy both of those in, excuse my pasting skills. But as outlined earlier, what might also be of interest is civil society groups, for those with an interest in woodland creation. And so again, clicking on the grouping, we get information here which talks about a bit of context for what this group covers. And I think thinking about, I might have something in mind, but if we think about charities and charitable incorporated organisations, CIOs, I think there might be a few of these who are interested in woodland creation and nature creation. So searching for CIOs. We then get to this list, and again this follows the same format as the local nature recovery strategies, and we see here there's lots of different charities and charity organisations, but what might be of interest is wildlife trusts, and focusing in on Gloucester, we have the Gloucester Wildlife Trust. You also can handily take you to their website and paste that into there. So now, after having a play around with the map and the associated spreadsheet, I've got a list of 4 potential users of this map, and I'm going to continue doing that, but that's kind of an example of how this map can be used.